Hello and welcome to Meet the Parents, a comedy parenting podcast where myself and my husband Sean Haggerty talk about the good, the bad and the funny from the parenting world and beyond. Before we get into the podcast, we'd like to remind you that our show that we're producing, that I've written and starring in, is called Sunny Side Up, and we'll be hitting the Lyric Theatre in Belfast this April, and tickets are definitely still available for that, I imagine. Did you do a wee downward point there? Link in the description. Yeah. It's not cut to you yet. I mean, it probably has. I don't know. Also, there are probably still tickets available for Belfast, maybe Belfast, but definitely Derry, for my first stand-up tour, Gotmilf. Maybe go to one of those because there's some jokes might crossover. Our guest today is our best friend, baby daddy, not our baby daddy, but somebody's baby daddy, Mr. Dave Elliott.
Hello, thank you very much for having me, guys. Pleasure. I'm wearing this jacket now, and whenever you said that, I felt like just doing the Kevin James thing.
Who's Kevin James?
The wee meme, Kevin James.
Oh, when you did that, I knew.
Did you see the one of him, and then it was like somebody posted about Jordan Henderson looking to come back to the Premier League, and it had the rainbow armband. It's brilliant.
Such a niche football joke, I was all.
Sorry about that, went over your head.
Jordan Henderson is a gay champion, like the champion of gay rights and stuff, and he just took a big bag of money to go to Saudi Arabia and Dunkerque.
Oh, yes.
And now he wants to come back because the league's shit over there.
Yeah.
We talked about him in the Blame game. That's right. I do remember. Well, probably somebody else talked about him when I listened.
Nice lad, though.
Yeah, well, you think so? But would you like to see him back in the Prem? I don't think so. Not for Liverpool.
Joe, where I'd like to see him, Sunderland.
Rangers.
Go back to Sunderland. Why
He's
Rangers?
like a Rangers guy. He just has that vibe about him.
Think so?
I could see him at Rangers. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know anything about football, so thanks very much.
No,
guys.
cheers, guys. Thanks very much.
You did the Blame game a few months ago.
Yes.
With me, it was really nice to work with you in a different capacity.
Yeah, I loved it. It was great.
You did brilliantly.
It was a lot of fun, and it was a nice day and a nice experience, a nice feather in the cap too, because obviously you can do a lot of stuff here and you can do podcasting and things, but sometimes when you get like the old school classics, you're
exactly.
Like, it's a nice way, it's almost when you get like a nod from the older guys as well, like the not the gatekeepers but the forebearers.
Aye.
Oh,
that's a nice way.
Yeah.
Putting it.
It's nice even like the comedians do, and they show up.
Yeah.
And just have a wee pint with us, or you do the Empire and stuff, and they just you go for a pint with them after, and it's just. They're just lovely guys.
And you know what? That it's obviously it's cool as well, because I think when we're at the kind of age where we're like the middle aged.
Yeah, there's another wave of the younger guys.
Yeah, all the younger ones talking about eating ass and all, and then us in the middle, and then the old guys.
We're talking about the Skill Gates.
I was funny. Speaking of that, where I did a gig with him not long ago, and there's a guy up talking about eating ass, and Tim leans over to me, he goes, he's all of that these days.
Eating ass or talking about it? Both?
But it was just, he leans over, it was be confused looking. He's all of that. And
should I be learning something here?
Should I be eating more ass?
I mean, that would be something I'd love to see, Tim talking about that. I would be looking at like, what even is that?
They're the older, the forebears, you're calling them, like the older comedians, they're so much cleaner than our crew, or our sort of...
You mean comedy-wise or asses?
The asses are not cleaner. Comedy wise, the comedy is definitely cleaner, and I don't know if it's because it's like the older audience that they're performing to.
Yeah, but see, I think like everything was maybe a bit like you'd have kept your business a bit more your business.
Yeah.
Whereas now everything's out there. Like even I find the younger ones below. I'm listening to them going, goodness gracious, I wouldn't be saying that.
Yeah, that is explicit.
I read an article recently saying how.
Read an article, seen a TikTok video.
Genuinely, this was an article.
Okay.
There was a link in the TikTok video and it said about how swearing is so much more acceptable now, and in the future it's going to be so much more acceptable on TV and everywhere, because nowadays you think of TV, it's not just the main TV channels. You have YouTube and stuff. You have Netflix on your TV, so that's TV. You're watching shows on TV.
I've never found a problem with swearing. I don't care. I just find them extra syllables. See whether someone says
their noises aren't
fucker or someone says cooker. To me, they're just syllables.
Well, it would be different. It'd be like you stick the turkey in the fucker. It'd be different.
They're the same thing.
But even people saying fuck and stuff, and you're like, come on.
I know.
We know what you're doing. But just say fuck.
Do you ever know what swear words are? Because I said something the other day in front of Holly, my 6-year-old, and I was like, is that a swear word? I'm like, it isn't, because it was the word booty.
Yeah.
I said something to relate, and I was like, shake my booty, and I was like, oh no. And then I was like, can I say it? And I said, well, Bootylicious, that's a Beyonce song. It's not.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I gauge it. If Beyonce sings about it, no swear word.
Booties also go on your feet.
Yeah. Is it?
Booties, wee booties for kids.
Booties. Okay.
Booties.
And pirates like to get booty as well.
Yeah.
You know,
Do
where's me booty?
Do you try and not curse in front of your kid?
Yeah, I try not to. You know, I think.
You said to me the other day, Sean, you were like, I wonder how she's not cursing more.
Because we curse all the time, don't we?
But like sometimes I'm like, maybe it's the time we should try and reel it back now in front of her, because I do not want her repeating it. But the other day she came in the room and she went to me, oh, Jesus me. So nobody says that in our house, but she's here, Jesus. Do you know what I mean? Or she'll, so like sometimes, didn't she say fuck the other day?
Oh, I don't know. Was I there?
I think she went fucking sick or something like that there, and I was all, oh shit, she's picking it up off us.
Sometimes, like in the morning, if we like all get up together and Diona would go down to the bathroom, I leave it about 10 seconds and I whisper in Winter's ear and I says, go down to the bathroom and ask Mummy, is she going for a big shit? And then every day she goes down,
goes like, going for a big shit. Every time, and she doesn't leave until you end your shit and come back down with her.
I know, because like the wee one will say words that come across as swear words but aren't. Like she says dick instead of stick. So she'd be like, oh, you know, so I would say to her, tell Grandy he's a stick. She'd go, Grandy, you dick. But then there comes a point where I go, and then Holly's like, that's a bad word. She's saying you're making her say it. And I go, okay. And Holly's got these big long fingers and she gets like a wee granny mush. If I say bloody, she's like, bad word.
Oh, really?
Bloody would be my kind of, oh, would you get your bloody stuff? Would you bloody this, bloody that? And then another one she started doing is, like I heard Matilda say it. I don't realise I said so much. It would be like, here, do that. You're doing my head in. Would you go and get that? You're doing my head in.
Yeah.
And Matilda was just sitting in plasticine the other day. I was like, oh, Daddy, you're doing my head in. And I was like, oh, you don't even know what your head is, let alone doing it in.
You do know it. I know. Yeah. They pick up on it. What is it that Winter, never quits?
Yeah.
Winter was like, never quits.
But you know what?
She's heard us say it.
And the wee rat as well. And on her tablet, she had obviously been videoing and this is a couple of things they've done. Holly was the worst for this, but I tell you in a minute, but they just take wee videos. And there's one where obviously I was doing dinner or something. And I was like, all right, Matilda, just stop that. Would you just stop that and eat your dinner?
Yeah.
And then she was watching this video and I was just come out of the shower and she was lying in my bed watching the wee video. And she goes, just stop this. And I went, what's this? Just stop this. And a wee smile on her face and then played the video. And I was like, oh my God, you're mocking me.
Because that's it. They pick up on everything. Sean and I have had to ban Winter watching Matilda because there's a song in Matilda the musical and it's called Naughty.
Well, and sometimes you have to
be a little bit naughty. And then she slams the door and she climbs up the side of a building and walks along the roof and jumps through the window and like throws things. Winter puts that song on and acts it out in our house, room to room, slamming doors. She was all, Jack and Jill went up the hill, and she was climbing up the stairs.
She has like a pail of water.
Yeah.
She has a beanbag chair and she like goes to the top of the stairs and just fucks it over the stairs.
Every time religiously at the same bit, she's all, sometimes you have to be a little bit naughty, whoosh, and then throws the chair down the stairs. And then you can tell for like the hour or two afterwards, she's all, no, I don't have to, and I want to, and like she's all like, oh.
Home Alone as well, watching Home Alone over Christmas, and she went to the door the other day and she's all, I'm never coming back here ever again, and like tried to close the door and you're like, wow, this is unbelievable.
She's two.
Yeah.
Like and I'm pretty sure, now you said you don't think she said it, but I'm pretty sure I was trying to put her shoes on her yesterday and she was sat in the on the stairs and she wouldn't go out. We were going for a walk and I was like trying to like shove the shoes on her feet because she like was not helping, curling up her toes and all, and not helping me put them on. And then I think I was all, listen, you're going to be in trouble if you don't put these on. And I'm pretty sure she went, try me. And I was like, what did you say? Because she's just watching these shows that you don't realise have such an impact on them.
Like last week she tried to check herself into the Europa with my bank card.
Did it work?
Can you
yeah, she just slow your voice down.
I want an extra large bed.
What would that be, like 2 speed in the phone or something just now? Yeah. And my sister got one of those bad boys for Christmas.
I packed one of mine away, a Talk Boy. I packed mine away yesterday in my 90s room.
Oh,
put in a box for the attic.
Great. Like Home Alone 2. 10 out of 10.
What a show.
Because you go to Winter, do you want to watch the one where he's in his house or in the hotel? And then she'd be all in the hotel, or you know, that's what you. That's like whenever we went to the Plaza.
Yeah.
Whenever we were on our honeymoon.
Yeah, the Plaza Hotel.
Past it.
Yeah.
We went down.
Did we?
But it was shite.
See, I didn't go in it. I walked past it too. Never went in.
We went in and we were like, we'll sit and have something to eat or a wee drink or a coffee. And it was like,
you couldn't.
it was like
Yeah,
nowhere.
It was like half derelict almost.
Aye,
Wasn't it?
we were just like,
Yeah.
it must have been getting renovated or something, but
Yeah,
it ruined all our.
That was a few years ago. They were renovating it, so maybe that's what's happening.
I know when I got
That's
married.
what it
Dave.
was.
Yeah.
You know,
Because
do you know when that
remember-
was?
There you go.
They were filming, was it Ocean's 13?
Yes.
And Rihanna was knocking about too.
She's
I says to
everywhere.
the owner, get your CV.
Your
Do you wanna go
CV
eat old
in
mum?
there.
Yeah.
Imagine
You
me
go down, you do a wee bit of acting.
Imagine me in the middle of New York going, excuse me, I am an actress. And like, fuck, sign her
Imagine
up.
her. She's be like, "Well, I'm a singer. Like, what do you want me to do?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do you ever need a field when you're in Northern Ireland? Give us a shout.
Yeah. Listen, I would have let Rihanna get her bops out in my field any day.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have had a problem. I'd have been like, "Listen, you far away from take anything else off."
Did she have her actual baps out?
I think so. Yeah, but then
I think she was in a bikini top
the
or
DUP,
something.
well, the DUP that is bops out.
Oh, yes.
You know, they're like, oh no, like they're like you
They
know,
sunbathe in like a onesie.
like you know the way that in like Orthodox Judaism they have like the sheet with the hole in it. And
Yeah.
That's what they do it through that, which is unorthodox. Like for Orthodox, it is unorthodox.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I think that's what the DUP would just be like. You know, but see before we get past Home Alone
right.
2, every time, no matter what, see that scene where he's up in the three of the crew come up to try to like get Kevin.
Brilliant.
And then when he makes him say "I love you," that's
Yeah.
every time I
Yeah.
laugh. That Tim
Tim
Curry's
Curry.
unbelievable in that.
So the three of them ones are so
Yeah.
perfectly cast there, aren't they?
And then the low key joke that's great is, you know, is it Clive, the
Yeah.
the security guy, and Clive, and he's like,
Oh yeah, your guy that looks like out there.
yeah, he's,
Is he the one who goes,
brilliant acting.
pizza, a limousine and a pizza? Is it him that
No,
says that? Or is it the other
that's
guy?
What do you call
Rob
it?
Schneider?
Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider.
oh, it's such
A
a good
limousine
film.
and a pizza.
And
Yeah.
Trump's in it too. What a classic cameo that is.
No. Tim Curry says that. Limousine
Oh,
and a
boy,
pizza.
says that.
And
Fuck
a
me, don't make me do it
pizza.
again. Keep
I
saying.
actually googled the song the other night, Joe, where Kevin walks into the shower and his uncle's in the
Yeah.
shower.
Oh,
know what I'm talking
I can
about?
Really
Yeah.
do it. Yeah.
Great song.
Uncle
Not Christmas
Frank's
at all,
classic.
but a great song.
Yeah, oh,
Like
I
a
love
jazz
it.
song.
I watch Home Alone anytime. It's one of
Love
those
it.
films. Just
But he's so bold. If your kids are watching it, he's so bold. Like you
Yeah.
think, oh,
Yeah.
like the behaviour he's encouraging. And now Winter
Hey.
is well,
his parents
Abandoned
abandoned him
Yeah.
twice.
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
accident.
No,
Yeah.
twice.
No wonder he got in the
they're
wrong
abusive.
flight.
They've let money go
Yeah.
to their mind.
Who runs through an airport and goes, they'll be all right.
Aye.
They'll make their way. We're sprinting our gate here, but the wee one with small legs will be all right.
Also, what the ma says to him, to like Macaulay Culkin, whenever she's sending him up the stairs in the first one, he goes, I hope my family, I never see my family again. And she goes, well, maybe you can, maybe your
Like,
wish
you
will
got your
come
wish
true.
last
Yeah.
year. Maybe it'll
No,
come
no,
true
no.
again
The
this
first
year.
one, she goes,
Yeah.
well, maybe if you say it again, maybe your wish will come true. Go, say it again. And he goes, I want my family to disappear, whatever. And then sends him up the stairs. But like, hey, how horrible is that?
I know.
Yeah, what she should have done is killed herself and everyone else in the house. And I'd be like, there you go, Kevin, happy Christmas, you dick. What do you think about that? You know, and then he would have been a different film altogether.
There you go. But now Winter is obsessed with bad guys. Like every single story you tell her has to be about bad guys, doesn't it? And it started from Hank and Marv from Home Alone, but now she's starting to find other movies that also have bad guys in them. Do you know what I mean?
Home Alone
Yes.
3.
Daddy, what is it? Home Alone
Genuinely,
3?
we started watching Home Alone
But
3
then,
the other day.
what do you
Silence
call
of
that
the
one?
Lambs.
Saw. What do you call that one where the baby goes, baby...
Baby's Day Out.
Is it Baby's Day Out? Aye, that one. There's bad guys in that. There's always bad guys trying to rob a house or steal you or something.
Yeah.
She's all, tell me about the bad guys. And she really wants to like deliberate over too. She goes, tell me one story about Hank and then tell me the other story about Marv. And she's like, and they're like jumping into swim pool in their clothes and they're getting in real trouble and all. Like she's just a sadistic.
Yeah,
like, you
really
know,
sinister stories.
so sinister.
Like I would say, like Joe, oh, mummy fell and like scratched her head and she was bleeding and stuff, and then you finish telling her and she goes, Daddy,
tell me that again.
will you tell me that again? And you're like, what are we raising?
About anything sick or anything negative, anything bold, anything bad. She's all we tell. Like last week, you had ordered like wood for our wood burning, like sticks and coal or turf or whatever, and he'd sat the cash out in our like whole table. And Winter came over and left it, and I went, no, put that back down. Like Daddy's left that there for the man who's coming to collect or leave off sticks and all. I says the man will be annoyed now if that money's not there. So then she put it back down, and then I was putting her up for a nap, and she went, will you tell me a story about the man being angry that the money's not there at the whole table? And like you just go, the man would be angry if the money's not on the whole table. And she's all, yeah, tell me that again. Like,
Yeah.
it's so weird.
But don't be like, and if he doesn't pay, you'll kill Daddy. She'd be like, okay. You'd be like,
She'd be like, go back to start. Tell me that over and over again.
Would it be right in saying you're a stay-at-home dad?
yeah, for the most part, yeah, I would
Yeah.
say so. Like, yeah.
How do you find it?
It's great. You know what? This is the thing. I feel like I'm going to out myself a bit here because like my whole shtick is I hate having kids.
Yes.
I don't. I love it. You know what I mean? That's the thing that you know when you're like, what is valuable in life? I'm like, time is, and I think I get to spend so much time with the kids
When
like,
they're wee.
at this stage.
Privilege,
And it's-
isn't
Yeah. I mean, I love it. Now
Yeah.
there are some times I'm like, oh my fucking god, I need to get out of here because I'm doing my head in. But you know, for the most part, it's class. And like even Catherine, like she works 2 days. She works Wednesday and Thursday every week, and then alternate weekends.
Yeah.
So like even like when the kids are at school, we get to go to the gym together, go for a walk with the dog, or you know
Yeah.
just hanging out.
Oh, they're
seeing
both
a
in
lot of people.
school?
Yeah. So
Jammy.
yeah, so they're well, Holly's in school every day, but Matilda goes on Monday and then on Wednesday and Thursday when I'm working. So it's great, you know.
She's in daycare.
Like nursery, yeah, from 9 to 11, which is like why does
What's
it
the
start at
point?
9?
And,
Yeah.
But also, why is it finished at 11?
Because people have shit to do, you know.
But like it should be finishing at like 1. There's nurseries that we know of like you go in 9 till 1.
Yeah, that's all right. It works. You know what I mean? It's not too bad, and
Yeah.
she's only pre anyway, so.
Oh, is she pre?
Yeah, and then she's pre, but it's still to 11.
Yeah,
You
I know.
And then real school, like so. No, it's great, and like
But you know what? Once they get into school, that's them.
Yeah.
So you almost like want to enjoy those couple of years where they're weighing at home.
yeah.
and like I don't know what it was I watched recently, but I was like
well.
super hitting that, but even like worse, like it just made me so sad. In fact, it was something. It was a girl I know had shared like something on her Instagram about like her wee niece had turned 18. And I was like, what? No. And it was just basically like her just sharing like photos of her as a wee. And then I'm
Growing
looking
up.
at it going like, she's like the age of my kids. And like then she's just 18 all of a sudden. And I'm like, and you hate the sound old. But your kids, like I have a 6-year-old and it feels like I just became a dad like last week. You know,
Yeah.
it's like mental how quick it goes. Holly's lost her big front tooth there. And
Or
and it's
big front tooth?
Like this one here, not the big one. It's the wee one, but
Oh,
it's
right,
the big.
okay.
It's the biggest. You know,
I
splitting
thought you
hairs
use
there.
your you
Yeah.
don't replace your big ones.
No, so
Right.
the big ones, unless you go to Turkey,
Yeah,
those
yeah,
lads will sort you. But yeah, it's just flying by, and it's really dawned on me lately. Like I need to like slow down a bit and be more present and not worry about like I suppose work and stress of it all.
I know.
You know, as much
Yeah.
and just go. You know what? At the end of the day, kids first and work will come. Like,
Yeah.
won't it?
My son turned 20 a couple of weeks ago, and I went on the Facebook memories on the day of his birthday, and there was posts of me when he was like 11 and 12-year-old going, I own an 11-year-old. What is
Yeah.
going on with life?
Nice,
How is
20.
this
Yeah.
happening? The next year, I own a 12-year-old, and
Yeah.
now it's like he's 20. He's a
Yeah.
grown man. That's the age I was when I had it, my first baby.
What 12?
20.
Yeah, it's mad, like, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know what I like. I like that you own them up until when they're 18, and then like on the 18th
Aye,
birthday, you like a slave trade, just free
Yeah,
them.
bye Felicia.
Yeah.
Just, yeah.
Yeah. Liverpool has you now.
Yeah.
I know it's mad because that their phrase they say about the days are long but the years are short, I think is the truest thing when it comes to parenting because
Oh, yeah.
it's hard when you're in the moment to be like, this is precious, you know, but it's when you look back, like we would look back when like Winter was like a wee, like Rocky's age as a wee baby, and you're like, oh, look at those wee photographs of her, but actually at the time it was a really difficult time, but looking back we have
Oh, yeah.
such like positive nostalgia, but like you look back and go, oh,
But like, see if you still had the feeling of what having a newborn was like, you wouldn't have another.
I know.
It's horrendous.
There's
Like,
some
whoa.
sort of like Men in Black whoosh, flash memory erased chemical thing that must happen to allow the human race to continue.
Because you're so tired.
Yeah.
You,
Oh,
know, you forget. Yeah.
but see also too, like I think whenever we went from 1 to 2, it was you forget that you're outnumbered. You know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
outnumbering the baby, and then you have another one. You're like, oh shit, we have this one that already is here.
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well
yeah.
to deal with, and it's just like that's when I went from 1 to 2. I went from having hair and a black beard to being grey and bald.
Yeah,
so I think
yeah,
that's
yeah.
a lot to do. But you know what I hate. I really find it difficult whenever people are all like, it's the most amazing thing. or
No.
whatever. It's hard. Like it's
Yeah.
hard
Yeah.
work, and you know some people are very fortunate to have like. You know, it's good when you have a good partner. You know, I think that's important. Like when you, but some people, you know, think it's this big, wonderful thing, and maybe you're not cut out for it, and it can be hard.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's the thing is, you know, whenever you have someone that you can work as a good team together, it definitely helps. But it is hard, and I think people don't admit how hard it is a lot of the time. And
It's the social media
It's
aspect
Instagram
of things,
stuff.
isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
it really is.
but it's like, and you just need to shut that down, and again, keep everything I think within your own you know, as long as you're doing what's
Yeah.
you know good for you, fair play to anybody.
So you have the 2 girls on your own a lot of the time. How do you?
You know what? Maybe not. Maybe every other weekend, I'd say I have them by myself, like a weekend dad. But again, a lot of time Catherine is there, you know. But again, whenever she's off, there's stuff to do. Maybe someone has errands to go, and vice versa, doing the school run and all. But you know, again, I think I'm lucky because I look back to my parents and I don't remember seeing them, you know, at all. It was just in the evening,
working.
and my mum was coming home like after 6 every night, and she was really working hard to try to keep, and like, whereas now to have the time to be with them's class, like I'm lucky.
I know, like we sometimes be like, we're so grateful that we get to like work creatively and in our own timetable, so it means that you can put them to bed and you can do your work in the evening. Like, I know it looks like there's like loads of things coming up this year too, but most of the time I do my writing or the prep for stuff, or we gig when they're asleep, when they're in bed, so you spend your time during the day with them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that's...
Because I said to Holly the other day, Matilda's into crying now. If I'm, don't go for work, Daddy. No, for work, Daddy. Like,
she's so French.
Yeah, that's why, you know, she actually, I brought her up in the Basque country, but which is Spain. So
she's so confused.
But she like she'll like be all clingy if you leave the house, you know, and even like if Granny or Grandad's are leaving, no, don't go. And you're like, it's
don't
okay.
Go, please stay here.
And she's, Mama, no. And then like I said to Holly, because she started like joining in. I'm like, you're 6, you know the way it goes. It's sweet.
Yeah.
Like, but would you rather Daddy be at work all day and then put you to bed and that's it? Or would you rather Daddy be with you all day, put you to bed, and then when you're asleep, go to work?
I know,
you know?
exactly.
And it's like, yeah, it's fair.
Like we put the kids to bed sometimes, and like say we put them to bed all the time. They go to bed all the time, every night. But like say you put them to bed at 7, and then you go out and you do a gig, or maybe like you get the house blitz, because there's always like a half-hour blitz you have to do after they go to bed because your house is a mess. And like maybe you might have to like drive the whole way to Derry or to Enniskillen. You might be doing like a 2-hour drive somewhere, doing a gig, drive back. It's like midnight or 1 a.m. Then you go to bed and you wake up the next day and you're like, they have no idea that I was 100 miles away last night doing a gig and 100 miles back. Like they just think, like I genuinely believe that Winter thinks that we just sit outside her door waiting for her to wake up.
Yeah.
The whole night long. You know what I mean?
But do you ever worry about being away at night? Because see, I had this total irrational fear. See, when Catherine was pregnant with Holly,
Aye.
and see, I was like, I need to see this baby. So I was driving away to like Enniskillen, and I remember one night I was coming back and there was roadworks going on, and a big fucking articulated lorry, is that the right word?
Don't think so.
Yeah, well, a big one.
Maybe it is.
Yeah, was coming. It had got itself in the wrong lane, so it was coming like the way it was coming directly towards me, and I was going, this looks like it's coming directly towards me, and I thought, it's probably looks like it's. I was like, no, this is fucking coming directly towards me, and I was flashing it and all, and then eventually it stopped, and he was like, oops, you're wrong lane. But at that moment I was like, I'm not going to see my kid here. I'm going to die shit. I'm really panicked. You know, I'm not as panicked now because I've seen them both, and I mean, I'm happy enough to die. But
yeah,
you know,
I forget if you're driving back from gigs and you're like knackered and you're like, I'm gonna fall asleep and kill everyone. But here, we were at a gig recently, the both of us, which is obviously tricky because you have to get a babysitter in, and then you're worried that one of us isn't there in the house. And as we were driving, we drove out of our house, and then Sean had to go back for a microphone lead, and we drove back to the driveway, and you spotted 2 fellas in our street, and you thought, oh geez, these ones are looking a wee bit dodgy. They look like they're looking around the car.
Circling our car as if they were about to steal
in your
it.
driveway?
No, it was parked on the road.
Our other car was parked out in the road, and it looked like they were like going towards our car, and then they sort of didn't when they seen us pull back into the driveway. Sean went in the house. We've a camera anyway outside the front door, and then we were about to drive to the gig, but you felt so uneasy. So Sean went around back to the neighbour and was all, there's 2 fellas wandering our street. We've 2 babies and they're asleep, and a babysitter who's like early 20s, a young girl, and can you just keep an eye out with a camera there anyway that we can access from our phone. And then we left and went to the gig, both feeling sort of up to high dough. You were like, I'm just going to go home and forget about the gig, and they'll just have to make do, it's not important. And we text the babysitter saying, obviously the whole house is locked up. We live within like, we've a wall around the house and a gate, so it's not like it's not on a main road or anything. And we were like, just don't answer the door, whatever. And then about 2 hours later, or about an hour later, she texts back, going, oh sorry, I've only just got to the phone. 2 fellas did knock on the door after you drove away and said, Poppy said we could come over here. And she was like,
Poppy says we can come into the house.
And then went to walk in past her into the house, and she was like, no, Poppy lives here, closed the door and locked it up. And we were like, what the hell? We rang the police. The police came out. Genuinely turns out these fellas
Foreign nationals.
No. I think it turns out that they genuinely thought, wee teenagers thought they were going to some girl's free house, and maybe thought we were the man and dad driving away.
Yes.
And she lived in a different corner house in that street. But it was funny because our babysitter text going, the police came and they've like scanned the area and they found a whole wreck of like 2Ps and 1Ps lying in the driveway. They obviously like something. This is before we realised maybe they were only looking for a house party, and they've obviously like dropped their money. Maybe they were robbing and they like scattered and they're away and all. And then I was all, no, that was me earlier on. I just didn't pick them up.
Like they were looking for boys' amusements with a bag of 2Ps.
See, my thought was they were
right
here
here
to just
somewhere.
like ping windows or something with 2Ps, you know.
I know, but I was the police were all, well, there's a 2P. It's from 1986. No, but I was just shit that I dropped.
That is the like stereotypical horror film, how it starts. The babysitter, freaky guys come to the house.
Aye.
You know, like, and if you heard these things about like burglars and stuff marking houses or places where dogs are,
Aye.
like putting spray paint on the door, like it freaks me out. That
If you came home and seen that on your door, you'd be like, oh, they're coming. I'd love if they did that for our cat.
yeah,
Love it. Love it.
But then there's a wee bit, I think, of being I think certainly being a man at least, that you want someone to come into your house so you can kill them and be like, well, they're in my house.
They were in my house.
Like,
But
do you
then-
remember, was it LL Cool J did that to somebody? Someone broke into his
know.
house.
Did he kill them?
And no, he beat the shit out of them and kept them until the police came. And like a fractured skull, broken ribs,
Having a
and
great
broken
time.
legs.
Duncan Ferguson did it too.
Yeah, and it's
guy.
like that'd be ultimate fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was an MMA fighter did that about a year ago, and it was on like it was at some MMA website
Yeah.
that I had followed, and he said he battered the guy. He was like he gave the guy everything, and the guy was still like fighting back and trying to get up and stuff. The guy was off his head on drugs, and he was like he was choking him, fucking
be a
sharpshooter and all.
great
It was Bret Hart. The guy was just still like a zombie.
A zombie. You used to sleep with a hatchet under the bed.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
In case
Full
anyone needed chopped in
hatchet.
the middle of the night.
But have you ever been like spoken to about that? Like I had a similar thing
By a
happen.
therapist?
But no, I was at a mate's house when I was back living with my parents, and I was around his house, is blocked, and I was like walking home, and my house is like my parents' house down this big lane, it's pitch black at night, it's a bit scary. So I was like I think probably 3 litres of Frosty Jack or something. I was like, I'm way home here. Do you have anything? And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, just in case I get any bother, any weapons. He goes, my dad's got a hatchet here. He can give me a handheld hatchet. And I just walked home with a hatchet, you know. Went to bed. My mum came in like next day, like 12 hours. Well, get up, you big lazy pig. Oh, you stinks of drinking all here. What the fuck's that?
Full
And I was
hatchet.
like, oh, just a hatchet in case I got into any trouble on the way home. And she was like, so, hold on.
Why is
If you-
the arm of it up your hole?
Just why does it stink shit? He's like, so let me get this straight. If somebody approached you on the walk home, you're just going to kill them with a hatchet? I was like, well, I guess that was my drunk thought. Yeah, sorry. Now in the
You
day.
at least
it's,
threaten them
To
with it.
scare them, isn't
Yeah.
it? Like,
Yeah.
But I do. I have a couple of wee things beside my bed.
Aye.
Just in case a big
Plant it round
double-ended
the
dildo. But yeah, I have a wee bat, a wee mini bat that if, you know, someone comes in,
I love that
shove it up my arse and then they'll be startled and run away.
Your turn.
Do you startle them instead? I love if someone turned up to your bedroom. You always think too they're going to come straight for your bedroom because they just want to fuck with you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they're obviously into steal shit.
Yeah.
You get out a wee tiny bat.
Because I got robbed once before in the house that you shared with me. In there, like someone left the back door open, another tenant I had left the back door open, was out smoking.
Not the owner,
And,
no.
no,
Leaving back
no,
doors open.
They got-
No, was that a common thing? But then you're here now, you go around and do the checks like
Yeah.
every night. I'm like a wee
Twice.
prison warder before I go to bed. I go
So
around and
am
check
I.
all the lights and windows and
Yeah.
the door.
I'll
And-
do all that too.
But do you ever go down? I guess it happens to me a lot. I'll go down to the back door at night and like bring the dog or let them out and it's unlocked and I'll go just to myself. Typical. And then like I'm not telling anybody or give off about it, but in my head I'll be like, there's another one chalked up, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, do you know how many arguments? Do you ever have? I've got arguments most days in my head with somebody, and you just
yeah.
have to get it out and you just do it in your head. Usually there was Sean. I'll do it in
Yeah,
my
I
head.
was gonna say.
Like, do you know this morning? Sean, so last night I went to bed early. I was absolutely exhausted, and Sean, you were like telling me to go to bed early. I came out. Sean was watching the match, and I came into the kitchen to do like the red up, and I started cleaning up the kitchen. Sean was like, "Leave it, I'll do it at half time." And I says, "Right, well, there's also a wash needs brought out and like hung up in the clothes horse and whatever else, and the dishwasher needs filled. If you want to do that, happy days." Came down this morning. And the dishwasher wasn't done, so therefore there was loads of dirty dishes that
Yeah.
hadn't been cleaned that we needed for this morning. And I spent Sean had so he got up an hour after me this morning, and I spent the whole hour trying to word it in my head how I would approach him to ask him about it that wouldn't be inflammatory, that would lead to
Yeah.
him going, as soon as he walks down me, but that's all. What's going to happen is I'm going to try and work this out to be polite in my head for the next hour. That as soon as he walks downstairs, I'm going to go, "What the fuck did you not do the dishwasher for?" And then I waited for about half an hour after you were down the stairs, and I was like, "Was it me that was supposed to do the dishwasher? Or was it you? I can't remember who was allocated that."
I do a lot of those things in my head. A lot of, like last night, for example, I was making, and again, Catherine's vegetarian, so it's awkward. So you have to make do fucking everything. So you'd have to do the base. We're having this like it was like a butter chicken thing last night, and I was doing obviously her fake chicken, my chicken, blah blah.
Do you wipe all her shit in yours just before you
I
give it there?
use the same tongs.
Aye.
But she, I was doing that, and she just came in and was like, started making like a lunch for herself and work today, and I was like, give me half, eat your dinner and then do it, you know. And she's like, excuse me, and I'm like, I'm fully, you know, making the dinner. Like, why would you? And then she said something to me afterwards, and it was like her being a dick about something, and it was just like, in this grand scheme of things, you should say nothing, you know. Like you've no legs, but it was something about me doing, like, I think you need to do this or whatever, and I was like, no, it's not time. You know? And then I thought I could just say, and I'm like, you know, what's the point in the argument? What's going to be the outcome?
Yeah,
I think that a lot. You know, I'm like, what is?
What's going to come out of this? Like the other day, I do, like we talked about this on last week's episode, but I do tend to. Sean does like some sort of handiwork around the house, and my immediate reaction is to go, "Why'd you do that for?" But obviously, like the other day, he put up a coat rack hooks, whatever it is. We've needed one up for ages.
Coat
hanger,
rack. It was lovely.
And my immediate reaction was, "Well," I immediately decided I didn't like it before I even seen it, and then straight away I was all, "But I think I might be a cheeky bitch," and then I immediately was all, "Sorry, that looks great, thank you very much," and you were just like, "Fuck you."
Oh, but there'll be some things that like your wife or husband will do, and it'll be annoy you so irrationally. Like Catherine got me a electric window cleaner for condensation.
Amazing. Oh, Sean got me one.
Window hoover. Using a squeegee before, yeah. And was getting this together, and she got it for me for Christmas. And then like last week, I could hear, and I thought it was her hairdryer. I was like,
she's using it,
and it happened like the third day, and on the third day I'd be like, listen, that's kind of my Christmas present. You know? But I'm not going with Anna to the Salt House at the end of the month. You are. And I'm like, I don't mean to be, and I know it's mental, but it's kind of, I like it. I like doing it.
Yeah, I like doing it as well. Yeah,
like
Sean got me it.
And then there's another thing, I was like, and I don't disrespect, but I don't think you're doing it the right way. She's like, what do you mean? He goes, if it gets past the point, it leaks. She goes, no, it doesn't. And then it leaked everywhere. And I was like, I kind of told you, but not one to have the argument. I was like, oh.
Here, I'll raise you one. I then got a big on a rod electric scrubber for the shower.
I love that shit.
For like all in the grout, all on the sides of your they're like doors and all.
That's the bit. Like I love it. It's
extendable and it has different heads.
Nah, I'm jealous of that. But see when you find tools you didn't know, like that thing. Like I was just using a squeegee and a towel. Whereas this is
it's amazing,
isn't it? And I love a nice clean house with all my washing done, all my hoovering done, all my dish. Oh, it's great. Like see, before I went out, I heard someone talking about future you. Have you heard this thing where it's like if you do stuff for future you now?
That's me. That's me. I do stuff for future me. Yeah. But we were leaving this morning. I have the house blitz before we went. It was an absolute shit heap when you left it because of just all the kids and all. But I was like, I'm going to blitz it because when we come back later on, which won't be till about 5 o'clock for dinner time, as all, we will be delighted that we walk in and the house is tidy and clean.
She'll be delighted. Here's what she does, right? All the time, right? You ready?
I love how he's holding my hand.
I know it's going to be great. That's how you know it's going to be great. I'm dying to say it.
We went away recently, right? And we woke up and the night before, Dion was all right. Need to start packing. I was like, "Would you fucking chill out?" Do you know what I mean? We'll pack in the morning. We'll pack together. She'll no, you don't understand. It takes 4 or 5 hours. You have to do all the packing. You have to do this. Named about 100 things. I was like, I know. I live here too. I get the kids ready too. You know. I says, let's wait till the morning. I do.
You get the kids ready, not all of their shit. I get all of their shit ready.
Why?
Because
she's 1,000 steps ahead of every single human on planet Earth all the time, right? Which is hard to live with. Sometimes you can never compete. But hold your thought, David, right? And The next morning, we woke up, right? Kids were up from like 5:30. We were knackered. And about 2 hours later, I was like, right, let's take it an hour each. We'll go back to bed. And she goes, right, go you to bed first. And I was like, oh, thanks very much. Very kind of you. I went to bed, woke up an hour and a half later. I goes, right, your turn. She goes, no, I'm not tired. It's okay. She had all the packing done. And then she uses it against you the rest of the day. Yeah. Well, I've got everyone ready, including myself. And you've just sat there, got yourself ready. You're asleep. And there's me getting everything ready.
You can't use that against them. Because the other day, same thing happened in reverse. Catherine went upstairs and I was like, I know she's tired. And she fell asleep. And I was like, you know what? The kids need to eat. I'll do their dinner and sort of dishwasher, whatever else. She came down, and then this is one thing that does irk me too. She feels like a guilt, and I was like, don't feel guilty, because there'll be a time I'll be tired. And,
we do that too.
But if it's okay, like, just don't. And I think that's another thing. That's a massive thing with parenting is the guilt.
Yeah. And
even to your partner. I think there are people out there who are more. I think like we're probably quite similar. Whereas like there are people who would be arseholes and would be like, "Oh fucking you did this," and I was like, it doesn't matter. It's all going to be the same outcome. I can sort the kids out. Realistically, what else am I doing? It's good. Because
we work from home a lot too. Only this week have we actually have to delegate our time where you have to go away for 2 hours yourself and do work, or even if it's to do like errands and chores and shit that needs done, like you have to, because we're getting into a habit of just, I suppose over Christmas and whatever else, spending all our time together all day, us two and the kids, and it's so intense. And you're like, you need to take time away. But by the way, back to the packing stuff. Because Sean was all, it'll take 20 minutes in the morning. It takes about 3 hours, and that's not a lie.
On your own.
It takes whenever you're also looking after the kids at the same time, because it's madness. The stuff you have to pack for kids that age to go away. It's like 2 travel cots, 2 travel mattresses, a tummy tupping machine because Rocky's now on bottles, a whole pile of clean bottles, a whole pile of spoon feeds for him, the formula for him, loads of clothes, changes of clothes, 20 spare things of clothes because everyone's gonna shit themselves all the time, all the nappies, a couple packets of wipes, everything in cubes, and then all of a sudden, after all that's done, I'm going, shit, I haven't even packed a pair of nags for myself.
Do you know what?
I mean? But then, there is so much to pack.
Packing's one big job. You can delegate parts of packing. Like, for example, when Catherine goes to work, I think it's maybe like back to the guilt thing she gets, but it's sweet. I don't think she needs to worry about it, but she does, and she always will. It's like if she's going to work, she'll be like, I'll leave the kids' uniform out or something, or I'll like pack a bag for them going to their grannies. You know, and I'm like, I can do that, but I think that makes her feel a bit more.
It's the mother in them. They need to feel wanted. They need to feel
and like there's definitely a thing nowadays where people are like, you can't use this phrase and all, but like, bitch, no. Like, they use a phrase like, you know, a dad job or a mum job. You know, there are certain things, and I find like certain dad jobs, like I got the girls hammocks for their cuddly toys just for space in the room, and I was like, I know the handling that's going into putting up the hammocks. Whereas Catherine didn't. She's like, I'm going to do it. I'm like, you would not do it right, you know. And it's like, and I know, but you don't know. Like, she's like, how hard is it? And I was like, well, you have to drill into the wall, and you have to put the wee plastic cavity things in to like to put the screws into, and then also it's an LED thing and all blah blah blah. So it's a fucking nightmare. And she'd be like, well, I'm going to do it, and she would keep doing that until I'm like, well, fuck's sake, I'll do it. And then to do that, it's not just a case. I had to go and get my electric drill, then I had to go and get my electric drill bits, then I had my toolbox to get the hammer and all. So it's like a full fucking thing to do it. And then her standing there, and then Holly sees her copies. She's standing there. Matilda's there. I'd rather mine be there, Daddy. And it's like, I'd rather you respectfully fuck off out of the room, like, you know. But so she'll do that. And then we had neighbours who were having this big party, and it was like I used to work as an ASB officer, so I would like know the times, and I was like, you know, the noise stops at 11 o'clock. If it goes past 11, business time, right?
Yeah.
And she was pregnant with Matilda at the time, and there's these kids, like probably 18, 19, having and it was like big music, loud, coming across. It was shaking the windows almost. I was like, give it a bit of time to stop. And she's like, if you don't go around there, I'm going to go around. And I was like, fuck's sake, I can't let a pregnant woman go around and threat. Like, there's going to be some sort of situation. And this was like in the middle of COVID as well. I was like, I will go round. She's like, well, go round now then, or else I'm going to do it. And I was like, fuck's sake, okay. So I went round. And you know, when you're in your head, you're like, I don't know what I'm going to do here. But as you're walking around, you're wearing a coat, you're wearing a hat, you get the hood up, you got the COVID mask on, and in your head, you're watching Top Boy as well. So you're like, well, when I go around there, I'm like, listen up, fam. Go knock that noise in the head, yeah. And then you knock the door, and then you have like what you're going to say in your head, and you knocked, and then no one was answering. I was getting raging. So I remember just fucking bunching the door, and someone came to the door, and I said, listen, keep the noise down. And then the wee line after that I was like, why'd you say that? But also, excellent. I went, because the next time I come round, I'll not be knocking. And in my head, I thought I looked like a paramilitary here, and and then the noise did stop. But in that moment, I was like, "This, I hate like being like, you know, totally emasculated." And she'd be like, "Oh, I'll go and do it," and you're like, "No, please don't. I'm gonna have to do this." You know,
Sean doesn't mind that because I had to go be the person that went down and complained about noise in our street.
But then she would get hit, and I'd be the one to blame for it. I'd be like, "You had to go around." And he'd be like, "These group of kids curb stomp me." I'm like, "Well, you know, you wanted to go."
There was one time I did take matters into my own hands. Remember, in our old house, we used to live beside two fellas, and they played music like so loud
Like-
all the time. No, just friends.
I don't know why I said two men or sisters.
Yeah.
Two party guys,
Yeah.
and all
Party
the
gays?
time.
Like, love it.
Yeah, and played music like relentlessly, and it got to the point where I was like, enough's enough. And the owner was all like, "What are you going to do? What are you going to say? Like, you know, don't start any trouble." And I was like, "I'm going out to give these lads a piece of my mind." And I fucking got my boots and all on, got dressed and everything, went out the front door, and it was our car radio up full blast. And this was for about 2 hours in the middle of the night.
What happened? They just come on.
Our
Like,
car
Or just had
radio
this
just-
fucking
yeah,
glitch
mind
where it
its
just
own.
kept just coming on full blast all the time. Neighbours used to knock our door and they were like, "Here, your
Your car
car
radio's
stereo's
on."
on. Do you know what?" We were
But you know what? What was funny about that is that we were the nuisance. Like
Yeah.
other neighbours were probably
Yeah.
going,
It
"Would
was
they turn their car radio off?"
Oh, that's
It's
fucking.
the
like
worst.
he's out there fucking crying his eyes out,
Yeah.
just smoking weed or something. I guess people doing their
Yeah.
away from the kids and the family.
Yeah, but that definitely I feel gets easier. You know, I feel like obviously you're now out the end with a few of the boys, but I keep being told that you still have the same degree of worry and concern.
Yeah,
It's just
it's
different.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah, but see now, like I feel like the fucking whirlwind of little children is like Matilda. You can now like set her somewhere. You know, you can be like, "Go play with your toys. Go and play with Peppa House, or
Yeah.
go play Hot Barbie with Holly," or even I'll go and stick the rest of that movie on, or you know, and you're just like, this is good now, and like I feel like
Yeah.
I can do stuff. Whereas it felt like before, it's like an avalanche of shit, and it's just all this shit you have to do, but you've no time to do it. You can't manage anything,
Yeah.
and then you're always at your partner as well, and it's like fucking stress, and you need to, I think, have. You know, appreciate the time, manage your time better. Some people need to definitely do better time
Us.
management.
100%.
You know, but also I think planning. I hate to be a nerd, but that helps me.
This
with
is me too.
organising
I
stuff.
always say to Sean the night before, we need to plan the whole next day so that all the things that need to get done work wise, household wise,
Yeah.
and that we also each individually get time with the kids on their own as well. Because
Yeah.
I think like it's important that like our toddler gets time with us by herself outside of the
Yeah.
baby, because like the baby takes so long to get organised and all that like at the top you could just go, right, let's hop in the car and go to the
Yeah.
park, and it's much quicker.
Because sometimes I see Holly and I'm like, I feel sorry for her because Matilda needs more attention because
Yeah.
she's wee, and it's like, you almost need like. We went through a time now Matilda's out of a cot, can't do it anymore. But whereas Holly would have come in first thing in the morning and just hopped into bed, had a snuggle, had a wee chat, and it was nice, and it was almost like her time. And now Matilda comes in and hits her and stuff when that happens.
Aye.
But like you do sometimes feel like almost you're making, because then the older one you're like, here, would you go and grab that for me, or could you
Yeah.
get Matilda's shoes, or would you? It's like she's just another wee helper. So I think with your kids you need to make time, and also with like your husband or your wife as well. Like we went during the week there to play crazy golf together, and we're like, we haven't had a date and just the two of us, and it was weird. We didn't know how to act when we
Aye.
were out, and then like the crazy golf in fairness was fun but took like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we're like, what do you want to do now? It's like, well, what do you want to do? It's like, I'll get a coffee.
What?
And then guess what we did after? Food
Crazy
shop.
tennis.
Food shop.
Yeah, food shop. We're
Food
like,
shop?
listen, we'll save ourselves problem tomorrow. We'll go to a food shop. And I was like,
We went on a night out at Christmas, and like it was the first time ever since having kids that we went out like away from the kids together during the day without them, and it wasn't in a work capacity. Like we went out for like food and drinks and stuff for the day, and I remember Sean was all, "Oh, are we just gonna flirt or what's going like, what did we do for the day?" And we're going away for our very first night away at the end of this month. Like on our own. Like we did go away for Sean's 40th, but I invited other people.
Yeah.
This is the first time that we're going, and it's just us in 4 years, pre-pandemic.
Easily, yeah.
We haven't been away for a night away since for the pandemic. Before we finish up, because I didn't want to talk to you about this, but then we just had fun. How do you feel about screens for your kids? Tablets, like how often do you use them? Tablets, phones, and all the rest of it.
I think positive, negative, and also limited. I think
Yeah.
it's important. Like again, if you need to get stuff done, like see, every Wednesday, Thursday, without fail, Catherine's in work for 6:30. So without doubt, I'm doing the school run. Both girls, getting them ready. It's to me the most stressful time of the day. Getting the breakfast, getting it. So I'll let them watch their tablets. Like say if I'm in the shower, I'll be like, right, Matilda, hop in my bed, watch your tablet.
Yeah.
And then that gives me just the time that,
Get ready.
you know, I can do that. And then like breakfast. But then it got to the point where Holly was watching her tablet and not eating her breakfast. So then I might take that away from her. So I think it's good, but also I'd rather them do like, and again, this is probably, obviously you wouldn't have this worry, but I look at myself and go, I have struggled all my life with weight. So I want to try to avoid them having that too. So I'd rather encourage them to do active things, play without tablets, not be like sitting there, lazy lumps watching screens, you know.
Yeah.
So I do worry about that a bit too. But like we would do a lot of like go to parks and go walking and taking them here. And I go always, and Holly, God love her, she's like some sort of like performance child. Like we have her in so many wee things. It's just, she must be busted by the time the end of the day. But screens are...
Yeah, they can be a good and a bad thing. Like with winter recently too, we've like obviously it's been like in the winter and it's been freezing outside, so she has started to want to go outside less and less, which is so unlike her. But I've like, is it because she got a tablet for Christmas, so she's getting to watch it more and more? And then recently we've been like, right, just morning and just night, because she sometimes would like see our phones and grab it and run into the living room, and it's 10 minutes before you realise, and she's watching YouTube shorts. And it's just all like Taiwanese children dancing and singing.
See, that's
none of it's in English.
None of it's in English.
Like I think Holly has like, she has my mum's on the phone when she goes to my mum and dad's, and when I think she watches that too much there.
Yeah,
that
she comes home and she's grumpy.
Yeah, and I just said to her, no more phone there, and like it was like a proper argument. She was losing her rag and all. And I was like, well, this is why.
Do you find that they're really grumpy when they come off it?
Tablets not so much because they don't get it a lot, you know. Like, but again in the car maybe I would bring let Matilda watch the tablet, because otherwise she would just distract you when you're driving and ask you things. What about this, Daddy? Daddy, yes, yeah, Daddy, why are you doing this? But I think like that you have to limit it, and also it shouldn't be the main thing to do. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like on the TV, what we're trying to do now, like we're going to Disneyland next month. So we're trying to get them more into Disney. So we're like making a point of watching more Disney now. So
no, I know. Do you know what? I'd love to do something like that with Winter and all too, but she's just not really into that. She's into Frozen, but not really, just the songs.
Yeah, but it'll get, because like another thing, they go wild between like 6 and 6:30, just before they're getting ready for bed, like running around chasing each other, screaming, and it's just like wild. So last night I was like, right, we're going to stick on the Jungle Book. Just the new one, and it was great because then they sat on my knee. You could both see them getting tired, you know, and they were just. I just love having a wee snuggle watching.
It's great,
so,
isn't it?
Yeah. Last night, Sean was at football, so I was putting the two of them to bed, and Rocky went to bed a wee bit earlier, and then Winter and I sat. We had about a half an hour with her then, which I love. It's like we've got half an hour with one of them on their own before the other one's in bed. And we sat on my bed for half an hour and read books. Now, we would normally go into her room, and she normally wants you to tell stories. So up until you go into her room, which is about 15 minutes before she goes to bed, you're maybe downstairs and the TV's on and she's singing and dancing or she's watching something. I thought, no, I'm going to bring her up the stairs. And we sat and read about 8 books, 8 of her books, not 8 of my books. Or obviously that would be like, you'd be there all fucking, she can read quick.
Dan Brown. Just.
In a blind. And then she just read, we just sat and reading books, and she just physically got so tired sitting there, like was basically lying down by the end of it, and I was all, actually this is a far quicker way to wind her down than going right, sit in your own and just watch something quietly, because actually her brain's not quiet, her brain's going crazy, but if it's a book it actually does wind them down so quickly.
But how often do you get that half an hour though?
I know you don't. Well, if the
very
two of us are
seldom.
there, you'd be able to go, right, you go sit with her and read books, but you don't get it if you're on your own.
Like we used to have that good routine where Matilda would go to bed when she was in a cot, and then like you'd read her a couple of stories, and then she'd go to bed, and then you'd have time with Holly. So now Holly's reading her books from school, so she reads her book, and then like we're reading The Witches at the minute, the Roald Dahl book, and you'd have that, but now Matilda will come in and be like, what's going on here? I'd be like, would you go to bed?
Yeah.
And she'd be like, but Daddy, I need a poo. I'm like, but you don't need a poo. And she's like, I know. But I was like, well, could you go to your room? And then she'd be like, ha ha. And then she'd go back to bed and she'd be like, I need a hug. And you're like, I'm just giving you a hug. And she goes, I know, another one.
And how do you say no?
I know, I always have to. And she likes to do a wee thing, Ugga Mugga. Do you ever watch Daniel Tiger's Neighbourhood? It's a wee show on Netflix where it's really good. It's like based on Mr. Rogers, you know, the American guy. And like they do this wee thing, Ugga Mugga, where he comes up to the screen and he goes, Ugga Mugga, and waves his wee nose. So you just rub your nose off each other. So she come out and go, Ugga Mugga. And I'm like, Ugga Mugga. And sometimes it's stinking though when she's got like runny nose and stuck in my beard and all. I'm like, ah. But it's hard because they're so sweet. But at the same time, they can also melt you, you know?
Yeah, because this will all pass. Listen, Dave, thank you so much for joining us.
Listen,
Anything upcoming that you want to plug your Sci Guy podcast on?
Yeah, my Sci Guy podcast is out every Thursday, and I'm trying to work on a wee tour for Maytime, but it's not organised yet. But it'll be here and abroad,
Excellent.
which is England. So if you're see, I always find awkward abroad, or I go across the water. Or,
What do people say? Just England?
People are like, what? Yeah,
Yeah.
but then it's like England and Scotland. But no,
Say-
Wales. Fuck Wales.
Say Britain.
Britain.
Say the mainland.
No, this is Britain too. Isn't it? This is where you get into it. Oh, fucking hell.
Just say
Yeah,
exactly.
Jesus.
Say you're going to Liverpool.
I'm going abroad. Let's leave it at that. To France with my children who are French.
Thank
And
you,
five.
Yeah,
Dave.
cheers for coming
And
in.
see you
Yeah,
next
Great
week.
to see you.
It's a pleasure.